Hello, everybody. My name's Andy Lagopis.
And I'm ACRacebest.
Yes, we got it that time.
Yeah, we're bound to get it at least once.
And today, welcome to Zootopiology.
That's it.
Yep, that's the official intro. Blah.
I like it.
Yep.
Helps people relate.
Yeah, so it's been a little while since last episode. New year, new decade, all that jazz.
Yeah.
What you been up to?
Well, I think the most relevant story, and I can tell it whenever you want, but I have recently been to Disneyland and I had a super cool thing happen.
Oh?
Yeah. Do you want me to tell the story now?
Go for it.
All right. So, some people have already probably seen, or I shouldn't say probably, but may have already seen bits of this on Twitter or heard the story already. But for those that don't know, Disney California Adventures is the park that's attached to Disneyland. They're two separate parks. Inside Disneyland California Adventure, there is a meet and greet that is still going on and has been going on for a while now of Judy and Nick from Zootopia.
Oh, man.
And I try whenever I go to the Disneyland, which for us is about, I'd say on average, once a month, maybe a little more, maybe twice a month.
Oh, lucky.
I always try to swing by, get a hug with my favorite duo, and just say hi, or just get to see them interact with other people, whether they're adults or kids. It is so cool to just see them interact with each other, see them bring smiles to other people's faces. It is so cool. Now, what happened was I showed up pretty late. It was their last showing on this day that Sarah, my wife, and I went out there. And God bless Sarah, man. She puts up with this that I always am like, you know what we should do right now? And so we go out and
go to Nick and Judy.
Yep, she already knows. And so we go out there, and as far as time-wise, they have a schedule of their viewings on their Disneyland app, which is nice that they have that nowadays. So you know when they're going to come out. And their last scheduled time to be there was 4 to 4:30. We got there about 4:20-ish and got in line, and immediately a cast member approached us, one of them assisting Judy and Nick, and said, "Hey, just so you know, they're probably going to run out of time for everyone in line, but they're going to walk through the line to say hi to everyone, give a quick hug or a quick picture." Which, in addition, I thought, that's cool. I've never seen them have the characters do that before. Usually it's, "Hey guys, sorry, time's up." They close the line and that's it. So we're like, okay, cool, we'll hang out. So I'm wearing one of my Judy Hopps Zootopia shirts, one that says "Join the ZPD." And Judy gets to me first and, sees the shirt, gets all excited, gives a big hug, hugs Sarah and I, and then she works her way down the line. Nick is, as he does, lagging a little bit, and he's working his way through. And I noticed he was shaking people's hands, which, by the way, I've shaken Nick Wilde's hand a number of times, but this time in particular, Andy, it was a solid, actual, handshake. I was like, wow, Nick has figured out this handshake thing.
It's tough to give a good shake through that suit,
It's not easy. It's not. You have to know where to put your hand in the paw, I guess. I don't know. But as Nick's shaking my hand, he's looking at me, and all of a sudden he just stops. He pauses, and he starts doing all these motions. Nick doesn't talk in person, but he's doing all these motions and whatnot. And he starts. He's pointing at me, and he's pointing here, and then he starts doing this. Basically acting out an old-timey video camera and saying, "Hey, in some form, I recognize your videos that you've done."
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. Now, the funny thing is this has happened before where I've had Judy and Nick be like, "Yo, you're the guy." So once again, Nick does this, and he's kind of freaking out about it, to which I'm like, whoa, this is cool. And he tells us, stay here till 5. Now, the cast member already had come through because they were so popular, which they always are. They added an extra time slot for people to see them, which was 5 to 5:30. So Nick's counting his fingers saying, be here at 5. Be here. Stay here. So we're like, okay, we'll stay here. So there wasn't a line or anything. 5 o'clock rolls around, and Sarah and I are just kind of standing in the area. Again, there's no other indication that they'll be there. Judy comes out, and at this point I told Sarah, just hit the camera. I don't know what's going to happen right now. So she's recording this. There's a video. And Nick comes up from behind. I don't even see him coming, and just tackles me. Just bam. He's bam right there. Judy comes over, and I was like, wow. Like, I'm not trying to say this in a pretentious way, but legitimately, I had Disney characters come to see me at Disneyland. It was so cool.
That sounds amazing.
No, it was a super special moment there. And then in addition, and I saved the long story. I told this on we have our semi-perfect podcast. I told the story, but I didn't tell it in this detail. In addition to all that happened, they proceeded, as the line started forming. Judy and Nick did not like give up on Sarah and I. Like, they're like, no, we're hanging out. At one point we were doing yoga with Judy. At one point I referenced, so the cast member that was there was also interacting with them, and he said something along the lines of, I know I'm really tired. And I'm like, oh, you should do what I do, just sleep on the job. And Judy did not like that. She was like, no. And I got scolded by Judy during all this. And then she starts referencing Nick, like, you do not want to be like him. Like, don't do it.
And this is all being like pantomimed, right?
Oh, yes, in all this form. And then at one point I referenced the Oasis. I can't even remember why. Oh, because we were doing yoga, and Nick loses it, and he's covering his eyes like Judy did, in the scene, and he's pointing at her, laughing, getting a kick. We were with them, interacting with them for probably close to 8 minutes. And
sweet.
Yeah, and I like, this is something where I'm somebody who I am very aware of this kind of thing, where it's like, for me, I don't want to take up some other person's time to get to meet them. So right. I wasn't sitting there like trying to make it last longer. Like, I was in that mode of like, as soon as you need us to go, we're gone. And they just kept going. I was like, all right, cool. All right. So it was special. And like I said, kind of a long story, but I had to share it. Very Zootopia related. If for anyone that's listening to the podcast and ever goes to Disneyland, you have to see Judy and Nick. Again, they're in California Adventure. Oh, they definitely are fantastic. Like every time, from the first time I met them, the interactions, they're so well in character, unlike something else we'll be discussing in a few minutes. But yeah, it's such a pleasure.
That sounds awesome. Like, that is just so cool.
It was. I tell you, I understand if there's jealousy behind like a story like that, but it was one
just
where
a smidge.
As it was happening, I was just like, well, this is new. This one's different, but it's neat. They do care, and you can tell. And I think that's a big reason of why, it's been almost 4 years now since Zootopia came out. But Judy and Nick have a very stable standing in the parks, as far as they always have lines whenever I see them, out for pictures and autographs. People get excited when they walk by. People get excited when they get to meet them. I just hope that Disney continues to see that, no, they are popular. We should keep them around.
Yes.
And obviously, again, they've had a longer run. I don't have stats to back this up, but from what I've witnessed, like, I think they've had a longer run than other character meet and greets that have shown up in the last few years. So it's just saying, for anyone
Mhm.
that is a fan of Zootopia, you got to meet them. It is
Oh, yeah.
so much fun, and they are so fluffy.
Oh man, I definitely need to make my way out to California one of these days.
Dude, if you haven't met them,
No, I haven't.
well, they know me apparently, so I'll put in a good word for you next time I see them.
All right, sounds great. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like the characters and such, the actors at Disneyland, they are like given strict rules for what they can and can't do in character. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, so the funny thing about it is
But it's
that
totally in character for them to do that.
yes, like they do obviously like everything that they do. It is to be in character as much as possible. Now,
Mhm.
since they don't talk, they obviously have other ways of working around. But you have Judy, who's very energetic, and of
Mhm.
course her there, which you say actors, but once you meet them, you realize it's actually them. I wasn't going to tell you that
Oh,
before, but
oh,
it
oh
is.
man,
Yeah, it's actually them.
oh man.
But it's
Well, what they think of the impression that Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman had of them? Like, pretty good
they
impression, yeah.
yeah, they were impressed. They said, "Hey, if they ever make a live action movie
Mhm.
with humans,
Oh man,
you know."
that'd be awful.
Wait, I shouldn't say that. Disney might be listening. Um,
Please
but
give us more Zootopia content,
maybe
but
it'll
maybe
be
not
like
that.
cats. Maybe it'll be like cats.
Oh, oh goodness. Mm.
Oh,
Ugh.
I was
I
gonna
hope.
say
I
though,
hope not. I
I
hope it's more.
once
Well.
yeah, no, let's hope not. As far as the characters at the parks though, when they do interact with you, the ones that don't talk, I have had them talk to me before, and it is
Ooh.
very jarring. I was once getting a picture with Chip and Dale,
Hmm.
and who have very high-pitched voices as a reminder for everybody.
Yes.
And uh Chip, I think it was gesturing for me to stand here, stand here. And then just kind of turned to me and went, "Stand over here." And I was like, it was the
What
deepest
the heck?
voice. I was I'm like, whoa, Chip's acorns dropped. So, anyways, moving on to our Zootopia
Yeah.
conversation.
I was just going to say, like, with them being such in character and such, I mean, it's basically canon then that they ship them, right? Because the actors are allowed to be all coupley.
I will say this. Yes, because that's my answer to that question, of course.
Of course, not
But
biased.
they do have some liberties, in the sense that I haven't seen, but I have heard that Chip and Dale sometimes walk by this meet and greet area,
Hmm.
and apparently one of the chipmunks has a thing for Judy,
Oh,
and Nick didn't like that very
I
much.
actually think I saw that on Twitter once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Nick didn't like that very much, which once again, confirmation, Nick
Hmm.
does care.
Yep.
Yeah, no, they've hugged. I think there's proof out there of them kissing. They are the
Hmm.
characters. They do make out. So,
Sweet.
yeah.
Wildtop's
Confirmed.
canon confirmed by Disney Land. Yeah.
It is law.
Yes. It is canon. Well, speaking of not canon,
Oh, yes.
so we've alluded to this topic in past podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like I'm thinking Arby's.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're going to be discussing that comic.
Yep.
I Will Survive.
Yep.
The comic that just keeps on giving.
Yep.
And it really does. Like, it's like, even at this point, it's still one of the most viewed, like, pages on ZNN. It's
People
so
gotta know, does it really exist?
yeah. Why did it have to become a meme? Of all the Zootopia things to become a meme.
Yeah. So anyone that's listening might not be familiar with
We hope you
what we're
aren't.
discussing. I Will Survive is a comic that was created by an artist named Borba. And by the way, before I move any further, because we're already having moments of us cringing here, I do want to say that some people have talents and try to branch out into other things, like comic writers. Sometimes the strength in the comic is the art. Sometimes it's the writing. Sometimes it's an average of both. For Borba, beautiful art, great artist. The art is
like
phenomenal, fantastic.
What I would expect from a full-on Zootopia manga.
It is, yes, it is. It is great.
But
Borba might have been able to use some assistance on the story, however. Maybe just to say, hey, is this a good idea? That was like, because I just want to throw this out. Like, I've never made a comic. I've never put the time into making a comic. I respect the time and effort and the time just to get to that point of being able to put in this kind of quality. I respect it. I do. And you know, we know that stuff takes time. So it's not a knock on, hey, you made it. It's everything that's with, well, it's the words that are within it.
Yes. And I mean, like you said, it takes a while. Well, he actually released it like page by page over the course of several months. And each time it got featured on the Zootopia subreddit. And there was comments and like people responded as it was going on. Like, it was very much a roller coaster of what's going to happen next. Because we didn't know where it was going.
Yeah. I was part of that experience. I was part of wondering, like, is this gonna have a happy ending? Like, where's they kept getting for the characters worse and worse.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, some context, Borba is Brazilian and English is not his first language.
Yep.
And that is evident at some points. Like, he does a decent job with the English, you know?
Right. And that's where I say, like, when I say yep, I'm not saying it as a, oh yeah, that's why, like again, credit where credit's due. You know, I don't know Brazilian. Borba knows both.
Portuguese.
So go you. I just, because I want to make it clear that what we're not doing is just bashing someone's work. You know?
Definitely not. And like I said in the actual article of publishing it, it's like then. Well, I straight up said major props to Borba for not only deciding to tackle such a hot button topic, but deciding to stick to it even after getting a lot of hate for it. Like, I give him credit for that. Like, he had a story to tell. He saw it through to the end. He didn't like pull a George Lucas and like he pull out on Jar Jar like partway through the prequels. You know?
Yeah. And
after Backlash.
And so to be clear, because we're beating around the bush on some of this stuff, the hot button topic, this story is basically about Judy discovers that she's pregnant, and it's Nick's child. That's you know, however you want to phrase it, it's Nick's and hers. And Judy is like, and Judy is like, no, I want to get an abortion because I've worked too hard for my job. I'm at this point. You know, so essentially the topic, the hot button topic, is abortion, and both sides of that coin, from the girl that wants to get it to the guy that doesn't want her to get it. And like we said earlier, or alluded to, the big issue that I see with this story is how out of character the characters are. like this, that's, I feel like, the biggest thing working against it. You know, and again,
definitely, like, the emotions are so extreme too. Like, He
Oh yeah.
like she starts telling Nick, and he is immediately bursting into tears and like, this is the happiest day of my life.
Yeah,
Like,
it's for anyone that gets in a relationship.
it is whiplash. The whole story is like pure whiplash.
If you get in a relationship, guys, what what
What not
this
to do?
comic teaches you is how important communication is. Talk it
Yes.
out. Talk it out. If you're gonna stick it, why don't you discuss it first? Just saying, because
Yeah.
it could happen. So yeah, no, but yeah, so when this comic did come out, it got a lot of backlash. It got
Mhm.
a lot of attention, as you said. In a big way, this comic actually it almost rejuvenated Zootopia in the headlines, so to speak, in that it got it
Yes.
trending on
Well,
on Twitter just because of this comic.
yeah,
But that's
that happened
also
like 6 months after it had like finished coming out though. Like it finished in like June or
yeah.
July of 2017 and like went viral in December when someone on Twitter like was like, there is a Zootopia comic about abortion.
Yep. So and you're right. I forgot about the how far of a time gap it was because it came
Mhm.
out. It ended. The Zootopia fandom went, whew, okay,
Okay, well,
and then
that's over with. We're done.
yeah, and everyone outside of the fandom found it, and then we went, oh great, well
Yeah,
here we
and
go.
PewDiePie found it.
Oh good. I hope you
It
enjoyed
was
it.
one of his first meme reviews.
Really, I did not know that.
It was within the first like 3 or 5 of the meme reviews. Yeah.
Does he like Zootopia?
He doesn't really say much about it, but like he discusses like he goes over the memes
I
and
mean,
he's like, the art is so good, but why?
mm,
Which is pretty much everyone's reaction.
yeah, that's a pretty fair assessment
Hmm.
of it. Yeah. So as you said, on the meme side of it, once this did hit the spotlight and a lot of people got a hold of it, memers also got a hold of it, and it took a whole new life.
Hmm. Oh yeah, and I'm pulling something up and I'm recording this right now. Oh, I'm going to cut out, well, or have the editor on this one cut out bits so that there's no private information or anything. But
Mhm.
I'd kind of want to show the stats from the day it went viral on
Oh yeah.
CNN, because CNN is the only site to have the entire comic in one place. And we are like, if you search "I Will Survive," the CNN article is the top one. It's the
Nice.
top result. So, um, yeah. While I'm pulling that up, I'm like, we got it. Really caught us. Like, we were not prepared whatsoever, because we got about 2 or 3 million page views in one day.
Isn't that nice? That's
Yeah.
nice.
Uh-huh. And we were like, what's going on? What's happening? Like, why is this suddenly trending? Why is Zootopia huge? Like, what's going on? And then and we figured it out, and we were like, oh no. Oh no. Um I straight up sent an email to Disney like warning them, hey, you'll see Zootopia in the headlines. This is not indicative of the fandom. We do like really appreciate like uh
Maybe they liked it. Maybe they're like, that's where we're gonna go with the sequel.
oh please. Please
You
no.
almost threw
That
up.
yeah, I almost did.
I
That
heard that
is
gag
the
reflex.
worst timeline. Um yeah. Give me yeah, so between November 2017 and March 2018. Let me just check. Page views. Yeah, okay, so we got 292,000 page views on one day. Like, and then 295,000 the next. Like, it is absolutely bonkers.
You guys can afford Arby's with those.
I know, right? And let's get into that. Because, like, one of the things that people really latched onto is like the content of the story was so different from the quality of the art. Like we said, it is like really, really well drawn. Like, it is very good to look at.
Yeah.
And it is very well framed too. Like, it's very cinematic. Like, but with that, and with the huge whiplash of emotions back and forth, it's led to some very memeable, reactionable panels. and if anyone knows things about comics that become memes, it is very easy to alter text.
Uh-huh.
And right now I'm currently looking at The Slap.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
The Slap.
Yep. So people really took it and ran with it. And so, I mean, we'll look over some of the memes too. Like, so are you on the article?
Oh. All right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, I am.
So, like, starting off with Silly Rabbit, tricks are for kids.
Judy's facial reaction.
And I honestly, oh my goodness, she's holding a box of tricks. I didn't even notice that before. They edited that in.
It's the little things.
Yeah, it's the fine details. Omae omu shinderu. Nani?
Boom.
Oh man, that is so 2017. Why weren't you at elf practice?
Oh gosh.
That is such a 2017 meme. Oh man. Like, it just happened to come out at this time too. But I really do appreciate some of the effort that people put into these memes.
Oh yeah, no, I mean there was some time put into some of these. Again, one person went through as we keep joking about the Arby's edit. Somebody went through and rewrote the entire comic.
Yep. And that's at the bottom of this article, so that's why I linked it, because it's all right here.
All right here. Right now. Oh man.
In fact, want to do something ridiculous?
What's that?
Want to voice act it?
Oh yeah, I'm a great voice actor. I'm ready.
Okay. Do you want to play Nick or Judy?
Let me hear your Judy Hopps voice acting.
When I was a kid, I thought anyone.
All right, you'll be Judy Hopps.
Okay. All right. So let's start this off. The ARBY'S edit. That's your cue. Nick starts off.
Yeah, that is me talking, isn't it? I don't know how speech bubbles work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is this important thing you want me to know?
Nick, the ARBY'S down the street closed yesterday.
Ha! Nice try, Fluff. You almost got me. I just got a deep fried turkey club from there a few days ago.
Twitch, twitch, twitch.
Your nose is twitching, so it means Arby's? Arby's isn't really closed, is it?
Yes, it is.
No! I can't believe you said that!
Nick, their food isn't even good.
Please tell me that I heard wrong. Why, Judy? Why?
It's all greasy and soggy. It's like they microwave leftovers and sell it as fresh.
What am I supposed to take to eat at work? For picnics? What other place makes gyros like they do, Judy? Who can compete?
You pass like 5 places between here and work. There's even a Hardee's. They're practically the same.
Hardee's doesn't sell gyros or potato cakes, Judy.
I don't even like Arby's, Nick, at all.
You always said how much you liked the curly fries, the milkshakes, hell, even the potato cakes. You told me you loved them. I get that was all a lie.
I liked them before you brought it home 4 days a week, before you started offering to take me on picnics and only bringing Arby's. I've had so many loaded Italian subs this month that my doctor is worried about me, Nick. No animal should have that much fast food. I told my mother how often you bring home curly fries, and she started crying. I had to listen to my own mother cry on the phone.
Well, I'd cry if I find out I created something with as poor of taste as you.
And I'm assuming there's the slap there, you know? Just then boom. We can eat at other places. We could start buying groceries. It's not normal to eat this much Arby's. You're a medical anomaly. You need to stop trying to challenge God. Nick?
Judy,
Um,
what would have happened if your mother, while pregnant with you, had eaten things like McDonald's every day?
that doesn't make any sense.
Neither has anything you've said. I can't imagine a life without their smokehouse brisket. I'd rather die than know I had to go on without the savory fresh meats and spices. They're sliders, Judy. They're so small, but so packed with flavor. They're only like this big.
Nick, don't go away. You're right. They're so small. Let's talk more about this.
Does it even matter to you how hard they work to make those? How much time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears goes into making a burger so small but so tasty?
I could make you sliders.
What?
I'll make as many sliders as you want.
No respect for the masters. You wound me. Nothing you make could be as mouthwatering as anything Arby's has given me. Goodbye, Judy.
Nick, where are you going?
To be honest, I'm thinking Arby's. Yeah! Bow, bow. Well, that happened.
That was worth the entire podcast.
That wasn't planned, everybody.
No, it wasn't. Completely spontaneous, but good job.
Oh, as you. Wow, we really showed him on this one.
Yep. So yeah. Yes, that happened. But okay, so going back a little bit, Borba has made it an annual thing. I'm not sure if you were aware of this, but he's made sequels.
Oh, I don't. More than one sequel?
Yes.
Haha.
So-
I was unaware that there was more. I think I knew of one.
Yeah,
Oh,
he did
no, I
one
definitely
sequel
don't.
that was Born to Be Alive, which is even more out of character, if such a thing were possible, but somehow he managed it. Again, not bashing the art or anything, but the writing is so cringe.
Look, once you rewatch Zootopia, you realize, you know what? Maybe Judy. I can't say what I was about to say, but just maybe she she ends up falling. I will just say it. Basically, spoilers.
It's been 4 years.
I still like warnings.
Fair enough.
Judy falls in love with, like, what is it? Like her oh god, what is she? It's like so inappropriate if it was a real world thing. Like, isn't it like her psychiatrist or something?
Born to Be Alive? Yeah, like some random fox vixen, like some random fox chick.
She's her patient or something.
Oh,
not Judy's patient. Judy was this person's patient.
Oh, right.
Like I said, like it was like it would be very questionable.
Yeah, but like Nick comes by and he like manipulates her into letting him in, which is out of character.
Oh yeah, doesn't he like?
I'm going to die if you don't let me in.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
people.
No, don't.
Not good.
Definitely don't.
Don't do that. Unrecommended. No.
Yeah. But then like this random fox lady steps out of the shower, and apparently Judy had hooked up with her, like, as a rebound.
Not gonna lie, kind of awesome. The out of the shower part, maybe not so much the rebound and everything else.
Nick's reaction.
It's so over the top that it's I don't know. There's a part of me that's like finds it fun.
Oh, definitely. Like, it is kind of amazing just like what lengths Borba goes to at this point.
What will happen next?
Well, no, seriously, like like a while back, I don't know if we talked to him or if he'd done like a Q&A or something, but like at some point it was mentioned that he really enjoys Brazilian soap operas. And that really explains a lot about it. Because it is very much written like a Brazilian soap opera.
I wouldn't know.
Well, it is just that level of melodramatic and, what's going to happen next? Will they keep the child? Who ends up with who? Tune in next week.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gave us something to talk about, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And so, like, I mean, it's very clear what his inspiration was. It is very much a soap opera. And it just doesn't fit with Zootopia. It doesn't fit with these characters. That's why, like, pretty much the entire internet agreed that it doesn't really fit these characters.
No, I mean, there's obviously, to state the obvious, there is a lot of work that is, fandom made.
Yeah,
that doesn't fit the characters. That people like to place the characters in situations, whether it's stories, art, that maybe completely reflect something that you go, there's no way from what we've learned in these characters this wouldn't happen.
One of the weirdest I've ever seen was fan art that was actually pretty well drawn, but it was shipping Judy Hopps with Albert Wesker from Resident Evil.
See, even that is less out of character than this, but good example. No, I'm just kidding. But that's
I've seen some weird stuff at CNN.
But that's part of the charm of fandom works, is that people could do whatever they want. It doesn't mean that they're free from the scrutiny of the internet or the criticism of the internet, but you can do whatever you want. And sometimes it'll work, and in some cases the majority don't see it working. I'm glad that despite the response to this comic, Borba hasn't missed a beat. Is like, you know what? I'm doing this. You know, a lot of people have asked because of the stuff that I've done on YouTube, and my friends have done on YouTube. They'll ask us, you know, this is my end goal. How should I start and work to get to that end goal of, you know, a lot of subscribers or popularity or whatever you want to call it?
Right.
And I always stop there and say, well, wait, whatever you're doing, you should do for yourself. If when I make videos, I'm making these videos to make myself laugh. I'm making these videos so when I look at them down the road, I'll get a kick out of them or enjoy it or whatever. If I only make something for the audience, I am up to not in, you know, you can't thrive off of that, because you're essentially you're gonna burn out. You're not gonna have
definitely
fun with it. You will run out of steam doing things that way. But you know, and there is a cross to this, like, you know, what you're doing for a living versus hobby. But you know, for like Borba's case, if this was a hobby, just a fun, I want to do this, you know, again, to me it looks like Borba made this because Borba wanted to.
And gotta respect that.
So you know, and said, hey, regardless of whether it's meme worthy to continue or because, you know, Borba wanted to continue or just to stir the pot more, whatever the case, Borba's
just
still
to
doing
spite
it.
The fandom.
Whatever the case, you know, I'm glad to see that this wasn't something that broke the spirit of a content creator. So good on you, Borba.
Yeah, good on you. Even if we dislike the writing, like, we still respect you as a creator, you know?
Made mark. The mark has been made. There's no taking that away from Borba.
Right.
Like I said,
like it reminds me of like have you ever seen the movie Florence Foster Jenkins?
I don't know if I have.
Starring Meryl Streep. It's about this like real woman in the 1920s, I think, or early 1900s, when recording stuff was just first coming out. And it was the first sort of viral it was the closest thing to a viral video that they had in those days. Because as she was not a very good singer, but was very much convinced that she was. And she put out an album. She went and recorded it. Like, she was this very wealthy New York socialite, and like would sing for people in private parlors and stuff, and people would like politely clap along, and she thought that she was living her dream of being an opera star, and all that jazz. But it was it's still considered some of the worst like recordings of these opera songs. To the point where, like, once the album came out, like, it went viral back before viral was a thing, like almost a century before that. And people like filled Carnegie Hall to hear her sing terribly. But she's got a very famous quote that they incorporate into the movie, and Meryl Streep does a great job playing this totally tone-deaf woman. But the quote is, "They can say that I couldn't sing, but they can't say that I didn't sing." And you know what? That's pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
And you know what? People can say that Borba can't write, that his comic is trash and stuff, but you know what? they can't say that he didn't make it. And
like I said,
that's
made a mark.
special to begin with.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. I agree. I agree.
Now, we may completely disagree on what, like, the standard of good writing is for comics and stuff, because he actually had a prequel to this, An Afternoon at the Mall.
Well, I can
that
only
was-
think of what a prequel to someone getting pregnant would look
Well,
like.
no, it wasn't like that.
Oh, pity.
No, but it was. It's called An Afternoon at the Mall. Okay, actually, you know what? People have done weirder stuff. But
Weird, he says.
Oh, okay. But that's actually a very nice story with good beginning, middle, end, good progression, good flow. They're actually fairly in character.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a prequel to this. But Borba never finished it because he thought the writing was not good. He thought that it was trash. So it's like, oh, okay then. And he released the full version of it like a year after Born to Be Alive. And he's made this kind of an annual thing. Like every year he's got a new part of the story that he
Really?
shares. Yeah. So this year he's actually just started a new part. Or I forget what it's called, but apparently it's not safe for work, so we won't be featuring it on CNN or showing it or anything like that.
We'll just discuss it on the podcast.
Hey, we've done worse already. But apparently, no, like all I know about it is that it is a prequel to Born to Be Alive and a sequel to I Will Survive. So it's in between those two comics.
Wow.
And it's not safe for work, so I'm assuming it's the story of how Judy hooks up with that random fox lady.
Go Borba! Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Hey, I mean,
Hey, here's the thing. This
Mhm.
is such a prolific fandom. There is so much content still coming out daily.
oh,
I just want
that is why CNN is still a thing.
Yeah, no, applause to everybody. I love the art that
Mhm.
this, like, I'm less in tune with the fanfic side, but I know you guys are making your fanfics. Keep doing it.
Mhm.
Someday I'm gonna get like tired of doing all the other stuff that makes me busy, and I'll go, it's time to read Zootopia fanfictions.
Mhm. Right.
but no, I mean, I love it. I love seeing the continue outpour. You know, I check CNN. All right, let's see the new art that's out there.
Mhm.
It is great. It is great, and I love it.
Yeah, and we've been able to, like, it is absolutely astounding. Like you said in your video a while back about the success of Zootopia, that it's got legs.
Mhm.
The fandom has legs.
Yeah, we're doing very good right now. Like, I can compare this to another Disney movie that came out, which was Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah,
My
there's
wife,
no fandom
Sarah,
for, or
well,
okay.
so Sarah was in the Wreck-It Ralph fandom, which slowed down quite a bit.
Mhm.
And the new movie was coming out,
Mhm.
and it actually kind of started reinvigorating
Right,
the
it'd pick up
fandom.
again. That'd make sense.
The unfortunate bit is the sequel that did come out actually kind of made a lot of people lose steam fandom wise. Like Sarah said that it kind of it took away what was left of the fandom. Unfortunately for a lot of people, I just don't think it was the movie that they were hoping for.
Mhm.
Those
It was a good movie all the same.
You mean the sequel?
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't like from my
it wasn't a
standpoint,
bad movie.
as a casual, enjoyer of Wreck-It Ralph, I was like, okay, this is fun. There were some bits of it that I found kind of odd in the way or direction they did it, but it wasn't something that I thought like, oh, that's the worst movie that was ever made.
Yeah, no.
But
Directed by Rich Moore. Love you.
yeah, it went in the same vein. I know that there were people like Sarah who are so in tune with the fandom, and a lot of people just were disappointed in what they got. Um, and not saying like it wasn't quality content as far as like, visually, everything was there, just the story they decided to tell. Now, I'm not saying that to because I've seen people who are like, no, we don't want a sequel. It can ruin what the first movie did for Zootopia. I don't think the fandom is in that fragile of a state that we have that potential. Essentially, what happened is people may have just jumped back on the Wreck-It Ralph fandom bandwagon when that movie was coming out, and then once it did come out, those people moved on, and it just felt like
any other movie.
Yeah. So in that sense, again, I want to say it again. Don't worry. Like, hopefully someday we do get a sequel.
Oh, yeah. It's super hopeful. And, well, I mean, like, that's the thing, because another thing to consider is Ralph Breaks the Internet was Walt Disney Animation Studios' first sequel since, like, The Rescuers Down Under. And it was their first real sequel. So, like, they are starting to show some improvement. Like, Frozen 2, I think, was better than the original.
Yeah, no, Frozen 2.
I just saw that. So
when it was announced, it was announced almost within a month of, apparently there was an interview done with the writers of Frozen, and they basically said, well, if there is a sequel, we'll have to figure out what story we're going to tell. We don't have a story to tell yet.
And that's kind of the standard response for
sequels. But within a month, Disney was like, we're making a sequel. and at that time, a lot of us were like, I mean, we knew they were going to make a sequel, but we were like, is it going to be bad?
Because, well, actually, no. Frozen 2 was announced before Wreck-It Ralph 2, wasn't it?
I don't know that timeline. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
either way, it was one of those things where we weren't sure like how Disney would handle a sequel.
Yeah. I will say this though. I was, while for personal reasons, I was curious how Frozen 2 was going to do, kind of box office wise. When I say personal reasons, it basically means Zootopia reasons.
Zootopia.
Yeah, exactly. But Frozen 2's success with what they were able to do, put out a quality sequel, and do well in the box office. That is what we, as a Zootopia fandom, needed. Yes. That was kind of all right, we're going to give this another shot. We're going to see how this goes. And hopefully it does well. And
it did.
Yeah. So we got what we needed out of that. And so
I do think that it's better than the original Frozen.
There you go.
So it's a step up in quality. So it's like, okay, Disney can do this. And I was watching it, and executive producer credit, Byron Howard. Of course, credit for Frozen goes to Jennifer Lee, but you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, hope for the future there. How'd we get on this?
Honestly,
right, the legs of the fandom, like the constant content being created. Yeah, it's incredible. It's how much people make and how much people love this movie, and like how much we love it all this time later.
Yep.
Like no other movie's really done that as far as I know. It's really incredible to watch, and I am so glad to be part of it. And even if we get stuff that like goes viral, like I Will Survive, like the reason it went viral was because of the contrast between the quality of the art and the quality of the writing. Just such huge extremes. Extremely good art and extremely odd writing. So, I mean, and that's what people latched onto. So, yeah, I'm I'm here for it. Like, all of the fan content that people make, everything people come up with, all the boundless imagination y'all have, we're here for that.
Yep.
Whatever it may be.
Whatever the future holds.
I mean, even if we sometimes regret it, like, we're here for it.
Well, it should be fun to see whatever comes of it. I won't be
Mhm.
surprised, by the way, if we do revisit this at some point, because I know sometimes you
Yeah.
like to bring other people into the podcast, and I'm sure a lot of people have opinions about this. So
yeah, we're thinking of doing an episode on like some of the more controversial topics in the fandom.
ooh,
Yes, and well, we'll see what happens. You know,
yeah.
we'll see how people respond to this first.
Oh, so it's up to you guys, you viewers out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you. I'm sure everyone wants to hear us talk about controversial stuff. I want to hear us talk about controversial stuff.
Oh yes,
I'm for that.
Well, like me and the rest of the ZNN leadership team talking about controversial stuff with you, like.
Oh yeah.
Because, well, we'll save that for another time.
Sure thing.
Mhm.
Slick.
All right. Well, oh geez, we've been going for like almost an hour. Wow, time flies.
Sure do.
So, well, definitely looking forward to next time. And till next time, I'm Andy Lagopis.
And I'm ACRacebest.
And I'm thinking Arby's.
Yes, you are.